Have you ever stopped to think about what's really happening inside your phone? I mean, behind every single photo, every song, every text message, there's this hidden language at work. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the digital blueprint that makes our entire modern world tick. It really all comes down to this one kind of mind-bending puzzle. How can a machine that only understands on or off, a 1 or a 0, create the incredibly rich, colorful, and noisy digital world we live in? It seems almost impossible, right? But the answer is actually beautifully simple. And it all starts with one tiny fundamental idea. And this is it, the bit. You can think of it as the single atom of the digital universe. It is the absolute smallest piece of information you can have. Now, by itself, a bit isn't much. It's just a yes or a no. But when you start stringing millions or even billions of them together using a shared system, well, that's when you can build absolutely anything.
Okay, so first things first. How do we get from a long string of ones and zeros to actual readable words? Well, we need a blueprint, right? A shared dictionary that tells every computer what each combination of bits actually means. Let's look at the original blueprint for language.
And that first dictionary was called ASCII. This was a total game changer back in the 1960s because for the first time, it created a single standard. It gave every letter, number, and symbol on an English keyboard its own unique number. With ASCII, a computer in California could finally understand a message sent from a computer in New York. Everyone was reading from the same page. So here's a peek at how it actually works. Your computer doesn't see the letter A. Nope. It sees the number 65, which it then stores as that binary code you see on the right. B is just the next number up, 66, and so on. And you'll notice that a lowercase a has a totally different number. That's crucial, so there's never any confusion. But here's the really clever part. The system is incredibly efficient. Look at the binary for a capital A compared to a lowercase a. See that? The only difference is that single bit, the sixth one, flips from a 0 to a 1. That simple tiny change is what makes it so lightning fast for a computer to change the case of text. Now, ASCII was brilliant, but it had one giant flaw. The original version only used 7 bits, which gave it just 128 possible characters. That's totally fine for English, but what about the rest of the world? What about accented letters or different alphabets entirely? ASCII just ran out of room. And that's where Unicode comes in. It's the modern, universal standard we use today. Instead of being stuck with a fixed number of bits, it's flexible. It can use more data for more complex characters, which means it has room for over 1 million possibilities. Unicode is the reason you can have English, Spanish, and Japanese all in the same text message on your phone. It's what makes our devices truly global. All right, so that handles text, but what about something that isn't discrete? Like, what about a smooth, continuous sound wave? How in the world do you capture that with just ones and zeros? Well, for that, we need the blueprint for audio. The magic here is a process called sampling. So picture a flowing analog sound wave. To turn it digital, a computer takes thousands of tiny little snapshots of that wave every single second. At each snapshot, it measures the height of the wave, its amplitude. And then each one of those measurements gets converted into, you guessed it, a binary number. Now, the quality of that digital sound really comes down to 2 key things. First is the sampling rate, which is all about how often you take those snapshots. The more snapshots per second, the smoother the sound. The second is sampling resolution. This is about how precisely you measure each snapshot. The more bits you use, the more accurate the measurement. And just to give you some real-world perspective, a standard music CD takes 44,100 of these snapshots every single second, and each one is recorded with 16 bits of information. It's that combination, that insane speed and precision that creates the rich, high-quality audio we all expect to hear. We've covered language and sound. So for our final piece of the puzzle, how do we build a picture, a complex visual, from nothing but a list of numbers?
This is the blueprint for how computers paint with pixels.
So the fundamental building block of any digital photo is the pixel. It's short for picture element. The easiest way to think about a digital image is just as a giant grid, like a mosaic. Each tiny tile in that mosaic is one pixel, and the computer's job is simply to tell each and every pixel what color it should be using a binary code.
So where do all the colors come from? Well, that depends on something called color depth, which is just how many bits we dedicate to each pixel. If you only use one bit, you've only got two choices, on or off, black or white. But watch how fast this scales. With just 8 bits, you've got 256 colors. And by the time you're using 24 bits for a single pixel, you have over 16 million different color options. That's literally more than the human eye can even tell apart.
The other half of image quality, of course, is resolution. If color depth tells us about the quality of each individual dot, resolution tells us the total number of dots in the picture. An image with a high resolution is just using a grid with millions more pixels, and that's why it looks so much sharper and more detailed to our eyes. So we've looked at text, we've looked at sound, and we've looked at images. And through all of that, you might have started to notice a common thread. There is one universal trade-off that connects all of them. And this is it. This is the big aha moment. It's the fundamental trade-off of all digital media. Whether you're talking about more text characters, more precise audio samples, or more pixels in an image, higher quality will always require more data. And more data, at the end of the day, just means a bigger file. You actually deal with this trade-off every single day. It's why Netflix asks if you want to watch in standard definition or high definition. HD is just more data. It's why a stunning, high-res photo can take up thousands of times more space on your phone than a simple one-line text message. It's always a balance between quality and size. Okay, so let's tie this all together with the big takeaways. First, absolutely everything on your screen is built from the simplest possible foundation, bits, just zeros and ones. Second, we need standardized blueprints like ASCII for text, sampling for audio, and pixels for images to give those bits their meaning. And finally, the universal rule: higher quality and more detail will always, always cost you more data, which means a larger file. When you think about it, these systems are the invisible architecture of our modern lives, all designed to translate our messy analog world into a clean digital one. And that just leaves us with one final, fascinating question. As we start moving toward things like virtual reality and fully immersive digital worlds, what are the new blueprints we're going to need to invent for the experiences of tomorrow?